From becoming the 7-time world champion in Formula One to witnessing the first winless season of his career, Lewis Hamilton has been on a roller coaster ride. And Damon Hill has a few questions about his future. Believe it or not, the British driver still hasn't signed a contract to race in Formula One beyond 2023. And that's exactly why we're not entirely sure about his future plans in F1. As for Damon, right before Hamilton's 17th season, he said that the Briton needs to start considering his retirement. Or simply put, he needs to think about one thing: how does a driver know when it's time to go? Because even if he doesn't think about it, we all are. And sooner or later, depending on his performance, everyone's got to start asking him. Obviously, he can shut people up with a multi-year contract or so, but he isn't doing that either. It just seems like the clock's ticking down on his stellar career right now. As of now, at least as far as I know, he's got no contract signed for 2024. And if that's how it is, then that means he needs to start counting down the races this season, even though a few months ago, negotiations were pointing to an entirely different situation. In fact, Mercedes team boss confirmed in 2022 that they were negotiating a multi-year contract. And remember how Daniel Ricciardo was left without a competitive seat after his McLaren contract ended a year earlier than expected? He was literally about to take a sabbatical as he hoped for a 2024 epic comeback. But that's when Wolff stepped in with a reserve driver offer at Mercedes. Rumor has it he was supposed to be a reserve driver for a year and then replace Hamilton once his contract was up by the end of 2023. But as soon as the rumor made headlines, Hamilton confirmed that he wasn't leaving anytime soon. Following that, Wolff soon announced that the two were discussing a multi-year contract over the winter break to sort things out for the future. If anything, Hamilton had his eye on a record-breaking 8th championship, which is exactly why he needs to stay a little longer than his contract is going to let him. Not to mention, Wolff isn't ready to let him go either. But looking at how things turned out right before the start of the new season, it definitely seems like the rumors weren't so wrong. Maybe Ricciardo should have stuck around Mercedes anyway, because right now at Red Bull, he's got no chance to replace any of the two drivers. Having said that, Hamilton's got one motivation that's got him going, and that's one more championship title. I mean, you've seen how the last two seasons turned out. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix win back in 2021 was literally so controversial. On top of that, 2022 was the first winless season of the 7-time world champion. I wonder what's in store for 2023, because I'm really hoping he breaks his unfortunate streak somehow. If he's thinking about grabbing the record-breaking 8th title and leaving Formula One for good, that would be a super dramatic exit. I mean, he's already a legacy, and this is just going to cement his name even further. Having said that, Hill knows how hard it can be to retire, especially after the success Hamilton has seen. But he definitely thinks the driver can stick around in his 40s, much like Fernando Alonso. As a 38-year-old, he's looking at a lot of things because, let's face it, in Formula One, you've got to be quicker than ever, and of course, super fit, considering their athlete-level training. So maybe the countdown began before we even realized, and he's running out of time. Hill himself stepped out of Formula One back in 1999 at the age of 39, and personally, he seems to think that with all the advancements in the car, there's no physical reason holding Hamilton back. As long as he's got the motivation, he needs to keep going out there. So there's just one question: what's keeping him here? And fans have a lot of theories. Maybe it is just the 8th title, or maybe he's going to retire the second he gets the record-breaking title, or maybe he's in Formula One just for the love of it. I don't know yet, because only Hamilton can come and clear this up. Because he's telling the world a different story. He's pretty excited about the 2023 F1 title battle and his exciting future. It turns out that at the car launch, the 7-time champion confirmed that he's going to stick around for a bit. In fact, he's got no plans of shifting to another motorsport series or anything else for that matter. Instead, Wolff confirmed that they're still going to negotiate the contract. And this time, the two are feeling pretty confident about the title. Now, he's also admitted that Max Verstappen and Red Bull pretty much dominated the last 2 seasons. And sure, Mercedes wasn't the fastest car out there, but this season, they're ready for a neck-to-neck competition. And they're planning to close the gap early on in this season. Not to mention, Formula One is a very unpredictable world, so only time will tell how this will unravel this season. As for all the rumors and doubts, Wolff confirmed one thing: age has no role to play in this contract. Yep, they're not worried about him turning 40, because we've all seen what he's really capable of. And that's something you can't take away from the man. In fact, Wolff said that this is going to be a complex negotiation, mostly because they've done enough of them in the past. It's just a little change from iteration to iteration along the way, and this time won't be any different. And if you're wondering about any sort of timeline, let me stop you right there, because Wolff and Hamilton aren't going to reveal anything about it. They're just trying to find the right time to sort things out. And as for contractual concerns, the Mercedes team boss is pretty confident that they're going to figure it out like they always do. And it's not like Hamilton's planning to switch to another team anytime soon. They've just got to refocus as they chase the 8th title. Having said that, get ready, because everyone's gearing up for the 2023 season. And a lot of drivers have got their eyes on Hamilton's seat. I mean, if things don't work out between him and the team, let's just say Ricciardo's the first in line for that seat. He's had a disappointing few seasons, but he's trying to get a competitive race seat in 2024. And if the 7-time champion leaves with or without another victory, the Aussie is gonna make his move. Speaking of which, in the case that his chances for an 8th World Championship title start looking pretty good, that could possibly change a lot of things for Hamilton. But that's dependent on a bunch of things. Not to mention, it seems like Wolff's trying his best to keep him on the team. Meanwhile, Mick Schumacher is also ready to step in with a competitive seat for 2024. So yeah, with the limited seats and considering Mercedes is the top team out there, a lot of drivers are chasing that seat. Not to mention, George doesn't seem to be threatened by any of this, mostly because of the fact that he's young and super talented. On top of that, he got his first victory at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in 2022 after a stellar performance. So yeah, I'd say he's pretty safe. But if Hamilton steps out of the team, that could change Mercedes' competitiveness on the grid. And there you have it, Damon Hill's concerns over Hamilton's unpredictable F1 future.